Dragons! Everyone loves dragons. Dragons make books better. We've got a top 10 list for you today talking about our favorite series with dragons.
Yeah, it's my rubber duck dragon, my other ducky dragon, my wax figure dragon, my
People, you
wooden
wanted
dragon.
Zach back in episodes. Now you know what you get. Hey there, welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son get together and talk about fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy things we enjoy. Today, just a quick take episode for you, one of our top 10 lists, where Zach and we're going to go back and forth and kind of try to come up with our top 10 series, primarily from fantasy, I would imagine. Maybe some science fiction will slip in.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, a top 10 list of series that have dragons in them. And these are ones we've read. You know, there might be other things out there that we haven't read, and there's things that should be in a top 10 of any list of things that have dragons in them that we don't put. That's what the comment box is for. Be sure to share your thoughts.
And honestly, maybe it's something I haven't even heard of, but I should have, and I should read it. So I'm going to enjoy seeing your comments there to let me know, what am I missing?
This is how our TBRs grow.
Look, we all love dragons. I love dragons. One thing I want to be clear about, this list is not the list of best dragons.
No.
It's best series that we enjoy that have dragons.
Absolutely. Best dragons would be a totally different
different list. Very different books and series sometimes on some of this. Some of the
Maybe
best
we'll have
series
to do that.
have bad dragons, and some of the best dragons are in bad books.
We might have to do that. I'm going to put that down. That's another top 10 list. Best dragons. We can come back to that, but that is not today. Regardless, what you see today, if you like it, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so, because we got a whole bunch of quirky, corny, fun content here. Take a look. All right, we have not shared our lists ahead of time.
No.
Some of you have seen some of these top 10 lists we've done in this format before. So I've got mine, he's got his. We'll go back and forth.
There will be overlap this time.
Probably. So we all have backups, too. So
yep.
We will each have our distinct 5, and then we'll kind of figure out how do they come in to be the actual top 10 for us. I'll go first.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, this time I will go first.
One immediately.
So from the bottom, my number 5 of my 5 would be the Rift War saga.
Okay.
Raymond D. Feist. There is a definite theme of dragons in here. Gold dragons in particular that are quite awesome, but also at this point quite rare. You have not read all of this, but you've read far enough to see the dragon.
Yeah, I've met a dragon. Forgot that there was a dragon in these books. It's very important what they've done, even as far as I've read, but their presence isn't necessarily the biggest portion of the things that they have done.
Now, clarify for me again, you've only read Magician, like Magician Apprentice, Magician Master, right?
Correct, that's it.
When you finish the next 2 books, we need to do an episode then on the Rift War saga. No,
the saga's the big thing.
Is Saga the whole thing and Cycle's just those 4 books?
I don't know.
We need to do an episode on those 4. There's over 30 books in the whole thing. But yeah, those would be good. Anyways, that's my number 5. Rift War, Raymond E. Feist. If y'all haven't read it, get there.
I am going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that is 6. Okay. I had numbered up through 6, expecting you to take some. So I'm going to take one that might be one of yours, which is our dip into a little bit of sci-fi. Because if we're talking about dragons, have to include the Dragon Riders of Pern.
Yeah, that was my number 2. So, okay.
I admittedly have not finished all of the things. We stalled out a little bit in our book club about halfway through all of the whole thing, just because we got busy. But what I have read, I've enjoyed most of it. Bits and pieces are awesome. Some of it kind of drags, but it is a good series.
Okay. My next one, which was number 4 on my list, The Wheel of Time.
I put that semi-jokingly as 1 or 2. Because it's true.
There's a dragon, man. There's a dragon.
But it also feels like a cop-out to be like, yeah, this series with dragons in it.
He's got a dragon on his, waving banner that no one really knows what that is, but we do. Yeah, all hail the Lord Dragon, the Wheel of Time, my number 4.
I think when we do our full rating, that does need to be pretty far down. Not because it's not the best series, or not because it's not the best dragon, but because it only semi-belongs on the list in the first place.
We'll see. Okay, what do you have?
My next one is one that I haven't read in quite a while. It's one of my earlier forays into fantasy, The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini.
I'm not surprised you put that on there. I have not read them, so I did not put them on there. But okay, very good. People love the dragons from there, so there you go. My next one, A Song of Ice and Fire.
Which was my other one or two.
There you go. See, that's just my number 3 for me, because I did have the Dragon Riders of Pern higher than that. But yeah, there are some killer dragons in A Song of Ice and Fire. I mean, who doesn't love those? And the Mother of Dragons, where they're cute little baby dragons who become monstrously big and not so cute dragons. Yeah. And then you've got some that, want to call themselves the dragon. It's like, don't wake the dragon. It's like, what? Is that a sex thing? I don't know.
Not in this case, but like maybe a little. Since you've taken 2 of mine now, I'm going to bring in my first alternate, which is here because of a book, but I'll take the entire works in this world as the series. It belongs in here for The Hobbit, but we get The Lord of the Rings and all it entails.
I had that as one of my backups. So yeah, okay, legit. I mean, we get Smaug.
And there are other dragons within this world in these stories, kind of, but they're not the heavy focus of most of the stories we read.
I am going to save my number 1, hoping you're not going to steal it. I've got to bring in something because you took my Dragon Riders of Pern, so my first backup would be Dragonlance.
Which is the Dragonlance. I didn't include it because I haven't read all of it. I haven't read enough to really feel like it belongs for my list, but I do think it is a valid pick.
I mean, dragons in the name, and yeah, dragons are embedded in the stories of Kryn. They're by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. Big stuff, definitely fits on a list.
So I have 2 left to go, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to save the one that I have left that wasn't originally on my list, and I have to figure out which of my alternates comes in here now. One of these I think probably belongs, according to many people, but I haven't read it, so I won't include it. Odds and evens. We'll figure it out. Evens, which means somewhere on this list, because of just a couple of books, Harry Potter gets placed on this list.
Harry Potter was on my backup list.
I think
the very bottom of my backup list, but yeah.
I think in terms of this list, kind of lame, but there were dragons.
I mean, the Goblet of Fire. Dragons play a very prominent role in one particular scene. But then it's one of, what's his name's brothers?
Ron.
One of Ron's brothers that
Charlie
works full-time with dragons. That's what he does. So it's a thing in that world. Yeah, okay. Well, my number 1, Malazan Book of the Fallen. Because you've got these beings who are able to turn themselves into dragons. And it's just a part of who they are, what they are. Perhaps the dragon is more who they actually are than the humanoid form they often sit in.
See, I sat there for a moment and I went, have I read far enough that I know there are dragons? And then I went, yes, I have. Yes, I have.
During book 1.
It happens. Book 1.
Becomes much more relevant further in, but the dragons there are pretty awesome. But we're really talking about the top 10 series with dragons in them, not the top dragons. And for me, of all the ones I've listed, Malazan Book of the Fallen is the top series. So there you go.
My last here is going to be one that hasn't been on your lists for many reasons for a while, can start to be on mine some. And I know plenty of people, it's a little bit divided of either they're very much on your list or very much not on your list of being a great series, depending on whether or not you jived with it. So my last series that has dragons is The Realm of the Elderlings,
which I haven't read at all yet. Okay, The Realm of the Elderlings. So of these that we've mentioned, we're going to rank them into our official top 10 here now. But before we do,
Honorable mentions?
yes, I have just 2 left that we haven't said anything about. How many do you have left?
3 that I'm going to mention.
Okay. Well, give us one of yours first then. Honorable mention.
Evan Winter stuff,
Rage
like
of
the Rage of
Dragons.
Dragons and something
Ah.
else there. I haven't
read
read
that
it
yet.
which is why I couldn't put it on. But I know it's supposedly good.
Yeah,
And I have to believe it has something to do with dragons.
pretty sure. Yeah. One of mine, The Guardians of the Flame by Joel Rosenberg. Classic fantasy from the 80s. Fun stuff. I want to reread that series at some point.
Then my other honorable mention is The Witcher.
Oh, yeah. There's dragons in The Witcher. That's another good one. I have one for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's another kind of cheat. The Poppy War trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I haven't finished book 3. I'm into book 3. I'm a few chapters in, but there is a dragon in the Poppy War. So
yeah, I'm not going to say too much more on that until you finish book 3. But like, you're not incorrect.
Yeah. So it could be used in this list. You have one more.
Yeah, I have a dishonorable mention.
Ooh.
Which is to say, it could be honorable, it could be dishonorable. I hear things both ways. It's definitely popular. Plenty of people also are like, yeah, but it might be kind of trash.
I know where
but
you're
also,
going.
if it's trash or
You're
not,
going
doesn't really
romantic here,
matter.
aren't you?
If it's any good, like if it's successful, does it matter if it's quality writing? Who knows?
You're going Fourth Wing, aren't you?
I am going Fourth Wing,
Uh-huh.
and it's sequels, which one is out and the next I think comes out this year sometime.
You haven't read it. I haven't read it. I'm
Doesn't
not
belong in
going to
this
read
list
it.
for us, at least for the moment. But there are people who would put that as their number 1 series with dragons because
that's
they
crazy,
love
man.
it.
Yeah. But there are people who like bad cars too. So
what do you think a bad car is?
I wasn't going to go there. I was going to go there, and then I went, wait, no.
Are we talking like a
car lovers will
Prius?
come at us. So I'm just saying bad car. I'm not specifying any of them. All right. Let's try to rank these then. So if we're looking at the number 1.
Yeah.
I have Malazan. You have what for number 1?
Probably, in truth, A Song of Ice and Fire. I think we give it to Malazan because it's finished.
that right there. Yes. Okay. And number 2, I had Dragon Riders of Pern. You had that lower.
Yeah. And I
had Song of Ice and Higher. Song of Ice and Higher. I had A Song of Ice and Fire 3. So if you thought that was 1, let's make that the number 2.
I think that is better as a series.
So we've got Malazan is 1, Song of Ice and Fire is 2. 3.
I think we flip a coin on 3 between Dragon Riders of Pern and Realm of the Elderlings for me, which means we put Realm of the Elderlings lower because I haven't finished it and you haven't read it at all.
All right, so Dragon Riders of Pern is 3, and Realm of the Elderlings, we give it the 4. Okay. 5.
Is this an appropriately low spot to say this is where we get to put Wheel of Time because it's a great series, but it's kind of a cop-out that it's in the list at all?
But it's a great series, and we're fanboys. Yeah, let's do it.
Right in the 5 slot.
Wheel of
Right
Time
in the middle
gets
there.
5. 6. I think one of yours has to go here. Maybe. I mean, I've got Rift War waiting, but you've got to have something better than Rift War, don't you?
I'm torn because I haven't read enough of Rift War to know. I really enjoyed the Inheritance Cycle.
Yeah, let's put the Inheritance
But it
Cycle.
has some
6.
moments.
Yeah.
That drag.
Inheritance Cycle 6. Rift War 7.
Down with that.
8.
Tolkien.
Okay, I can live with that. 9. Dragonlance.
Correct. And 10 because it's the weakest
Harry Potter.
of these, both for the reason and series. Great, enjoyable, but also other things.
Matched up against all those other series, Harry Potter belongs 10.
It's lighter.
Yeah, really is. Nothing wrong with it. Still on a top 10 list, man. Rocking.
It's still outsold most of these other series.
Not
Didn't
Lord
say
of the Rings.
all. I said
Not even close.
most.
I wonder if it's outsold the Wheel of Time.
Absolutely.
Probably.
Absolutely. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. I don't think it should necessarily, but it
That's
absolutely has.
another thing, another top 10 list. Top 10 selling fantasy series of all time, but we wouldn't be giving opinions, we'd just be giving facts.
I mean, we could give our opinions on whether or not the facts should be different.
I like it. I'm going to make a note. We can do that. All right, but that's where we'll stop for today. There's our top 10 list. You've seen them all out there. Let us know what you think. Which ones do we have the wrong order on? Which ones you completely disagree? That's trash. Get it off the list and tell us what it should have been there instead. Again, if we haven't read it, we couldn't include it. They might think Evan Winters should be number 2 or 3 or
and maybe it should, but we don't know yet.
Yeah. So let us know. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.